So this bill, in my view, does not go anywhere near far enough in terms of addressing our crises, and I hope that as soon as the Biden administration comes into office, they will address those deficiencies. Now, the good news, and there is some good news, and I'm happy as we enter the holiday season to say something that I think the American people are wanting to hear. And that is, when you ask the American people, and the pollsters do that, and they say to the American people, we're in the midst of this terrible crisis, what do you think should happen? And overwhelmingly, some 80% of the American people, overwhelmingly Republicans, Democrats, Independents, they say that in the midst of this emergency, we need the United States government to respond to our pain. Because we don't want to get evicted. We don't want our kids to go hungry. We don't want to be saddled with incredible debt. Government has got to do something. 80% of the American people, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, understand that. And then when you ask them, what is the most important thing that can be done? And there's a long list of things. What they say the most important thing that can be done is, in this moment, help my family out. Get me some money so I can pay my bills, so I don't get evicted, so I can feed my kids, so I can go to the doctor when I get sick. Get me a direct payment. As you know, Mr. President, the CARES Act provided $1,200 for every working class adult in this country. That is an individual earning less than $75,000 a year, a couple, $150,000, plus $500 for their kids. That means for a family of four, husband, wife, two kids, that's $3,400. Now, you don't get rich with that, but when you get a check of $3,400 for a family of four, it means that maybe you could pay your bills. Maybe you could breathe a little bit easier. Maybe come Christmas time, you might actually be able to buy your kids a few gifts. Maybe the fear of eviction is lessened just a little bit. That's what we did in the CARES Act, and that is what I wanted in this bill. Now, a week ago, 10 days ago, nobody here was talking about the need for direct payments, help for working families, despite the fact that that is the issue, the program that the American people most wanted. A lot of other important things that we're dealing with. That is what the American people wanted. Help us out. Let us make a decision. Get us some money in this time of need. And I'm happy to say, working with people like Senator Hawley of Missouri, working with the Progressive Caucus in the House of Representatives, working with Senators Gillibrand and Warren and Merkley, Markey and Wyden, working with Pramila Jayapal and many others in the House, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ro Khanna, and many others who have stood up in the House and say, we have got to have direct payments. I'm happy to say that as of now, and we're going to fight for more because this process is not over, the proposal, as I understand it, provides for a direct payment of $600 for every working class adult and $600 for their kids. That means for a family of four, that would be $2,400. That is half of what I wanted, but it is a step forward, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that we come as close to that $1,200 as we possibly can. Mr. President, millions of our people today are living in desperation. Half of our workers are living paycheck to paycheck, while 1 out of 4 American workers today are either unemployed or making a starvation wage of less than $20,000 a year. During the holiday season, over 1/3 of Americans expect to lose income. 1/3, and are having a difficult time paying for basic household expenses. In America today, hunger is at its highest level in decades. More than half a million Americans are homeless, and over 30 million of our people are on the brink of eviction. By January 1st, 12 million Americans will owe an average of $5,800 in back rent. And as bad as this crisis is for the whole population, from coast to coast, it is worse for the African American and Latino and Native American communities. During this pandemic, nearly 60% of Latino families and 55% of African American families and many Native American families have either experienced a job loss or a pay cut. So, Mr. President, all across this country, working families are standing up and they say, you know what? We have served in the military. We're doing our best to raise our kids in this unprecedented moment in American history. We need help. And I want to thank not only my friends in the Congressional Progressive Caucus in the House, Representatives Jayapal, Tlaib, Omar, Ocasio-Cortez, Ro Khanna, and many others. I want to thank the millions of Americans who have stood up and demanded that the government respond to the needs of working families in this country. And I want to thank the over 60 groups representing millions of working families, progressives, the elderly and young people, including Public Citizen, the Center for Popular Democracy, the Sunrise Movement, Social Security Works, Presente, and People's Action, for pushing a progressive agenda forward and for demanding that this government respond to the needs of our people. So here we are as this proposal continues to be negotiated. As I said earlier, it is my hope that not only do we make sure that unemployment benefits are extended for another 16 weeks at $300 per week, it is my hope that we can see some light here and get to the $1,200 direct payment that adults in this country desperately need. So, Mr. President, I am going to do my best in the coming days to make sure that that happens, and I hope that the American people will join with me to get on the phones, to call up their members of the House, members of the Senate, to say that in this unprecedented moment in American history, government has got to respond to the needs of working families. And with that, Mr. President, I would yield the floor.